Kevin Faulk. Every time I hear this song, it reminds you of All Eyes on Three. You can see him sitting on the bench after a long touchdown run in the SEC, where the ESPN cameras have found the LSU All-American. Yesterday, it was announced again he's on the College Football Hall of Fame ballot. This needs to get done. He's on the 2021 Hall of Fame ballot. He's the SEC's all-time all-purpose yardage leader. He's LSU's all-time rushing leader, and now the LSU running backs coach. And he joins us here on OTB. Always appreciate the time. Congratulations. Good morning.
Oh, appreciate y'all having me, man.
Was yesterday a good day or a bad day? Good day because you got nominated for the College Football Hall of Fame. Bad day because you see your longtime teammate Tom Brady wearing a different uniform.
Nah, it was a good day. It was a good day. Just waking up in the morning, thanking God for the opportunity, to have another successful day. But the Tom Brady part, I got over that a few months ago.
What about it, though? You saw it for the first time with the rest of the world. He's in different colors. How did you take that? A longtime teammate, a guy that stood next to him in 3 Super Bowl victories.
Until it happened, I didn't believe it was going to happen. But it just goes to show you that's the business. It don't matter how long you played with a team or what kind of relationship you have with a team. The possibility of you playing for another team is greater.
Coach, when you go into these recruits' rooms, and I don't know if you wear the Super Bowl rings or not. I was talking about what a power play would be if you did, but when they figure out like your experience in your career, do they ever pick your brain about Brady and Belichick and just what it was like playing on those Patriots teams?
Well, it's the crazy thing, T. I really don't bring it up unless a kid asks. I'm not the type to talk a whole lot about it. A lot of coaches always say, man, if I was you, I would be going in there with my Super Bowl ring on, talking about this, talking about that. But nah, that's not me at all. I'm just low key, and if you ask about it, yes, that's just kind of who I am.
Yeah, Mickey Joseph told me a great recruiting story about you is that they don't know about you the first time. They ask about you, and then they kind of figure out, and then they YouTube you and Google you. In the second visit, everybody's like, Coach Faulk's a dog. I didn't know he could play like that. So I know you don't talk about yourself a lot, but how about getting that call that you're on the ballot once again for the College Football Hall of Fame? Got to be a cool experience.
So definitely a cool experience. It's kind of like I said last year when it happened. The first few years, I was excited, jumpy, retweeting everything, wanting to give votes and everything. Now the last couple of years, it's just been, me being me and letting it happen. Cause not really nothing I can do about it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's time to make this happen. It's Kevin Faulk joining us here, the LSU running backs coach, 2021 College Football Hall of Fame nominee. So your group, the group gets back on campus last week voluntarily. Coach O was here yesterday. Coach Moffitt was here on Monday. Just being inside of that building, I guess, is it starting to feel a little bit closer and normal to football season?
Just having the kids here makes it feel better for you. Make you feel like you're working for something and have an opportunity. To see them walking around, see them on the fields while they're running around, doing drills and stuff and working out.
And we had Coach O on recently. We were asking about the running back room and everything else. We were asking about Chris Curry and kind of his rise during last year. And your name came up as someone who advocated for him, like, hey, yeah, look, it's on that stage, semifinal, right? Who are we going to play? I think Curry deserves a shot. What have you seen in Chris Curry that maybe a lot of us didn't see for the majority of last season when he had kind of become an afterthought?
Maturity, and not just in playing a game of football, but understanding that, hey, this opportunity is going to come. You just have to stick it out. You have to be patient. We talk about being patient all the time, but that kid was patient last year. He didn't fold. He didn't get upset or anything. He just worked his butt off like he normally does, and I think that's what puts him ahead of a lot of guys. He works his butt off.
And when you look at that room right now, you got Curry, you got John Emery, you got TDP, you got some of the young guys coming in. How do you manage a room like that going into a year where maybe there's not like a clear cut, this is going to be the guy? Like as it stands right now, there's no kind of Clyde Edwards-Helaire figure in there.
Oh, that's the easy part. That's their job. They manage that. They manage that by how they play. They manage that by how they manage themselves during going to class, going to tutoring sessions. It takes a lot. and they understand that, and that's why they're college athletes.
Coach, a guy that people may not know a lot about in this recruiting class, because we talked about the defensive lineman, we talk about Eric Gilbert, we talk about Elias Ricks, is the running back in this class in Kevontre Bradford, a guy out of Texas that was a late signee to the class. Can you tell us a little bit about his game and where he fits into the room?
Explosive, very fast. He has track speed. Can get out on the perimeter and make some guys miss. He's very twitchy. Now we want to just get him out in space and see what he does, at this level.
What's the return on the recruiting trail on last year's offense? Is there a feeling around that it can be replicated? Is it a feeling that it was kind of in a vacuum from a recruiting standpoint when you're out there selling the message from what LSU now is on that side of the ball? How's it taken, and what's the pitch?
It's just like when you asked about the running backs. It's all on the guys now. We had some guys that left, some electrifying guys that left from last year's team, but we feel like we got some guys that can, I'm not going to say top that, but, be equal to that or try to beat that, what those guys did last year.
And you got to see a little bit of it during spring, right? You got to do a few practices before the pandemic hit and everything got shut down. What was it like? What was it like being out there in an official coaching capacity as the running backs coach?
It was cool. It was interesting. Getting adapted to it a little more, but it was just being me, going out there and trying to get those guys to understand a little bit more about football. I always tell them, you at LSU, obviously you have talent. My job is not to make you a better football player, but my job is to make you understand the game of football more, and maybe that'll help you enhance your game.
How did your role before becoming the running backs coach help you be a better coach, a player development role for the last 3 seasons? How has that helped you become a better on the field and even off the field coach?
Knowing the guys a lot more. I was on campus with the guys more. I was going to classes. I was going to tutoring sessions. I was going to meetings with the guys, with them early in the morning. Just little things doing with the guys. So I had a good relationship with the team.
Kevin Faulk joining us here, LSU running backs coach. What was the on-the-field dynamic like working with Steve Ensminger, Scott Linehan, Mickey Joseph, the whole crew, offensive staff? You got a couple of guys that weren't there a couple of months ago and replacing those guys on the field. What was it like working with them? Just for I know it was limited in 3 practices, but what was that experience like?
Oh, it was really cool. It was, like you just said, you named a whole bunch of people. Then you named some new guys that came in. I think throughout this whole pandemic and throughout those first few practices, we have been trying to build as a coaching staff, kind of like the team has been trying to build as a team. We got to get our camaraderie together as well as a coaching staff. We got to get a good feel for each other as well as a coaching staff. So that's what we've been doing this whole time as the new guys coming in and me trying to adapt to Steve and Steve them adapting to me as well.
Well, one thing that Coach O's been very upfront about when we've talked to him is kind of taking from the greats, right? And then you put it together and you make it your own. But whether it's like the LSU standard performance that I think you got from like Carroll or Johnson, and it's all these great mentors. Has he ever picked your brain at all about kind of the institutional knowledge that you may have from the Belichick and Patriots dynasty that you were a part of?
Oh, definitely. That could be any time that he just pulled me to the side and tell me what he's thinking and what do you think, Kev? And, I give him my little input, but he does. He does it. That's who he is. He's going to tell you, I'm not the smartest coach in the world, so I'm going to ask questions. I want my team to get the best information.
How about from your experience, Kev, just being such a football mind and seeing football greatness up close? It seems like LSU is kind of the epicenter of college football right now. Coach O said on Friday there's an Army general coming down to learn about leadership and what's going on with the Tigers. There was a lot of interest from a recruiting standpoint. You've seen great football programs up close. What makes LSU have that feel right now?
Obviously the coaching staff, but it's the support staff that nobody really asks about or talk about a whole lot. The recruiting department, the personnel department, the player development department, the academic center, weight room, training room, those make the recruits, their family, their coaching staff feel at home, feel like it's a family-oriented place. And that's how it always has been. Now it's just a little more.
Mm.
Yeah, and obviously Kevin got to see that firsthand, being in that personnel department, talking to Kevin Faulk here on Off the Bench. Coach, what are you most looking forward to once the season gets back? Like, what part of football have you been missing the most during this quarantine?
I think just football in general, on the field, and then watching a kid grow, watching a kid develop as far as a football player on the field.
Hey, okay, last one here, and then we'll let you go. Who's going to win more games this year, Brady or Belichick? You have to answer. It's legally binding on the air. Who's going to win more games?
Oh, I'm a Pats for life now.
Okay, so the Pats will do better than the Bucs this season.
I'm saying Pats, but it's gonna be tough.
He's loyal.
There's one game I wish I could go to, and that's probably the first game that the Bucs play the Saints in the Superdome.
Oh,
yeah.
I would love to be at that game.
Yeah,
yeah. You've had some good memories in that stadium too, huh? High school, college now, and Super Bowl championship.
Yeah, I've only had one bad memory in the Superdome, and that's when the Saints destroyed us in 2009.
Yeah. On Monday night.
I was at that game.
That was a beatdown. Everything else was all good, though, for him. He is a Louisiana legend and a part of the 2021 College Football Hall of Fame ballot, and he should be in a long time ago. He's LSU's all-time leading rusher and their running backs coach. Thank you for the time this morning, Coach. We'll talk soon.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
All
you,
eyes
Coach.
on three. The man.
A legend.
Kevin Faulk joining us here on Off the Bench.
You could hear it. You could hear it. His heart's with the Pats.
Yeah.
But the Brady effect is strong.
Yeah.
He's kind of like, I don't know.
Remember when it was going down, like when Brady was talking about whether or not he was going to leave New England, and we had him on, he was like, no way.
Yeah.
No way.
Right. I forgot
He's
about
like, no
that.
way. There's just no way that can happen. I mean, this is not going to happen. So, I mean, I'd imagine for somebody like him, who, by the way, Tom Brady called at Kevin Faulk's Hall of Fame induction to the New England Patriots Hall of Fame, Brady called him his favorite teammate of all time.
Wow.
Which is a hell. Wow. I mean, like, think
Dude,
about that endorsement.
That's a go.
I mean,
there's not any.
nothing
else needs to be
about
said.
as good as it gets. And Faulk is in a perfect place. I mean, he is in a perfect spot when you talk about a guy that wanted to be a coach. He's got passion to be a coach. I mean, if you talk to coaches around him, guys that have been at Corey Raymond, Steve Ensminger, guys that have been coaches for life.
Yeah, forever.
You know what I mean? Like, they're like, Faulk fits right in. I mean, this is what he's supposed to be doing. And then you hear guys like Ogeron, the message that he's selling. Remember when Ogeron told us a story about his first recruiting visit? Ogeron prides himself in being the first coach in the parking lot. He pulls up, there's one car there, and it's Faulk.
Well, then how about, I mean, it just shows how, it's just so different how guys like him operate because, I'm thinking you walk in there and you flash the rings and you're all gaudy about it. And no, he's like, I don't even need that. Yeah. I'm just walking. He carries himself with the quiet confidence of a man who knows he's a beast.
That's right.
And so he doesn't have to say it. He doesn't have to show it. And you can even get that vibe just from talking to him. And I like his answers on like, wait, what do I have to do? It's on them now. Mm-hmm. Like I can show them the way. I love that idea about teaching them the game of football that like it teach you how to understand it better. Like you're already very talented. My main job is to get you to really understand the depth in this game. And then through that, you'll get way better. So, yeah, I mean, the LSU running back room is in great hands.